two games have the opportunity to upset the natural balance of the world of college football. Will it happen? I'll let you know during this rankings of my top 10. But first, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Well, let's get into it. So, my rankings, I decided to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more to the point, just because nothing really upset the order. There isn't much of a reason. But there is a little bit of movement by one team that greatly impressed me this weekend. Well, that team, as you can see now, I got the Volunteers sitting at number 5, right behind Clemson. And yes, I do have my beloved Georgia Bulldogs still in a fall. However, and they still didn't look good. Another three consecutive games now. Stetson Bennett has not thrown a touchdown. I would implore somebody why it wouldn't be a good idea to at least give a Carson Beck, a Gunnar Stockton, a Brock Vandergriff a shot. A shot. This is your last weekend of football to try it before we get to the meat of this schedule. You've already seen my video on how I feel about Stetson Bennett. Georgia, to me right now, is a dead team walking. And I don't see how anybody can say that they're a top team in the country right now. Their defense is great, not legendary like last year. The running game is not as good as what it was last year. And Stetson Bennett's not carrying that load necessary to continue to be dominant. A change is going to have to be made if Kirby wants to make a change. Now over to Tennessee. The 40-13 sloshing of the LSU Tigers was absolutely impressive. I had a feeling, I had Tennessee winning. I did not think it was going to be a take them out behind the woodshed old Yeller kind of moment. My goodness gracious. Hendon Hooker, 17 of 27, 239, 2 touchdowns. Efficiency. I like that. I mean, Tennessee right now is the best team in the SEC East. There's no question about that. They look better. They play better than what Georgia has done. You may like the fairy tale that has been Stetson Bennett, capped off with a national championship. However, fairy tale. A dynasty is not started by a game-managing quarterback. Unless you're Bill Belichick in the Patriots. But that's neither here nor there. And when you're in a conference like the SEC, where you have 3 teams now, we're down to 3 legitimate national contending teams of Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. And you need that star quarterback moment that Stetson hasn't had. Hendon Hooker's had a few. Bryce Young's had a few. We know they can do it. Bennett, he needs a lot of help. And I don't think there's enough help to get past Tennessee, get past Alabama, and get past in Ohio State or Michigan. Now, while making my list and making this whole thing, I've noticed that the AP is beginning to do what they usually do with Clemson, and that is push those ACC teams a little bit higher up to make Clemson look better than what they really are. I'm beginning to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a few head scratchers from from the ACC make the top 25 when we start the committee rankings. We've seen that in the past, and I think we're about to see it again now that Clemson is still sitting undefeated at the top. And it's irritating because when every team plays at their best, I don't think Clemson's a top 4 team. The problem is Tennessee, they they don't have the juice yet. They don't have that signature. Yes, they got an opportunity this weekend against Alabama in Neyland, which I'm not going to lie, if Tennessee comes out with a win, they're getting vaulted to minimum number 2. And then then you have Big Ten with Michigan and Penn State. And this one's going to be a tight game, I think. Michigan Penn State, I think is going to end up being one of the best games of the day. Especially if J.J. McCarthy continues to play it uberly safe, refusal to take a risk, and trying to be perfect. Harbaugh has to express to McCarthy, you do not have to be perfect. You can make a mistake here and there. But cannot be holding onto the ball for so long. Cannot be asking that much of an O-line. Now that we're playing a Big Ten, a good Big Ten team. So McCarthy's going to have to anticipate a lot better and throw a guy open. Because Penn State, they're good. They are good, don't get me wrong. And they are good enough to beat Michigan, potentially in the big house. But, again, Michigan, they got a good defense. They got a good running game. This is J.J. McCarthy's opportunity here to open it up, show him that, yes, I can be a Heisman Trophy candidate. This is a potential Heisman Trophy moment waiting to happen. Same thing with Hendon Hooker this weekend for Tennessee. This is the life-changing games. That is a must-win on both sides. More must-win for Tennessee and Penn State because Tennessee still plays Georgia and Penn State still plays Ohio State. Well, Michigan, Penn State both, but Alabama and Michigan, they got the rep. They got the good graces, so to speak. Tennessee doesn't. Penn State, a little bit more than Tennessee, but still, they're not gonna be forgiven as easily as Michigan and Alabama. That's just the reality of it. So I'll show my top 10 one more time. Ohio State still number 1, Alabama still number 2, Clemson Michigan number 3, Clemson number 4, Tennessee number 5. The Cowboys, the lone Big 12 team left standing. And number 6, Georgia number 7, Penn State number 8, USC Trojans, I'll get to them in a minute, number 9, and Ole Miss sitting at number 10. I think Ole Miss, they're riding a high. I think reality is going to hit them very soon. Not this weekend. They're playing Auburn, but could come as early as next week in Death Valley. LSU, nothing to lose. Dangerous team. But anyway, USC. This is their big show me game. Utah has been the gold standard. No, that still hasn't changed. Is Utah as good as what we thought? No. But this is the opportunity for USC to show that we're just not we are not the USC of the last 10 years or so. This is the Matt Leinart USC, the Reggie Bush, the Carson Palmer. We are back to that point. That is what's on the line this weekend in Utah for the Trojans. If USC pulls this one off, bet your ass they're going to take a jump. They're jumping up in the rankings. But the ESPN Football Power Index has USC at 38.3% chance of winning. And I think that's enough. I think USC wins this weekend. Because this is the biggest game yet. Caleb Williams, I think he's going to have that Heisman moment kind of game. And again, back to Hendon Hooker and J.J. McCarthy. This is a Heisman potential game. I'm here, I'm going nowhere, and I'm coming for everything. This is it. For all the teams involved. And Utah, they're not laying down. This is their Big 12 title hopes on the line. With a loss, they no longer control their ability, I believe, to the Big 12 championship. They now have to rely on somebody beating Oregon and then them beating Oregon on top of that. So, this is it for Utah. Everything on the line against the biggest, most popular team in the Pac-12. 8 o'clock on Fox. This is it. Great weekend for college football. I'm very excited. A lot of changes coming in this ranking that is, I can promise you, more accurate than the AP. I don't play favorites as far as conferences, even though I do like the Big Ten a little bit more than anyone else. But nonetheless, this is the show me weekend. This is a show me weekend for Michigan, Penn State, USC, Tennessee, and quite frankly, Alabama. This is it. So make sure to join me later this week. I'm going to come out with some more videos, I'm going to do a couple motorsport ones I've gotten a request for. So we're going to be talking about F1 and NASCAR. So make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of those, because those are going to be a little fiery. They got some stuff to say about NASCAR and Formula One. So we'll see you later this week on the Dylan Hiller Show. Take care.